Well, I'm back, as you can see here, coming at you again with, I guess, a video. I'm out for the summer, so maybe I'll start making videos again, not guaranteeing that. Yeah, trying out a new recording setup here. I'm filming outside right now, if it wasn't apparent by all the birds chirping and the slight sound of the wind here and there. But, yeah. I'm trying to recording outside here because it's the lighting's a bit like better out here, and yeah, I just think it'd work pretty well. So, how about we get into this video? So, here you can see I have a pretty interesting mask to review here. As you can see, it's a SzR2-50 casualty mask, or more commonly known as the SR-1, which is in factually correct. That's obviously not its actual designation. The SzR2-50 is the actual designation of the face piece. Yeah, and the reason why this mask, this mask is called the SR-1 commonly is because it's based off of a mask called the SR-1, kind of. You see, this mask is a licensed copy of the SHR-1, which is a Soviet casualty mask. Pretty much the exact same as this, except, just a few differences on hardware, like, the colors, construction, a tiny bit, and just, like, different types of materials, just slightly different types of materials. And also it's, like, 10 times more common than the SHR-1, because the SHR-1 didn't see a very long production span for the Soviet military, just because of how much it costed, is what I'm guessing. That's probably why they came out with the SHR-2. Which is that one Soviet heavy wound mask that you see a lot more. This mask was likely introduced in the Polish military around, I'd say, the early to mid 60s. For what I can tell, they probably just bought out all the, they probably bought out all the molds for the face blank and stuff and all that, considering the Soviet Union probably already just got the SHR by the time of that, and they just sold them all the molds, is what I'm guessing is what happened. These were adopted in like the early to mid 60s, and were produced up until I believe the 90s. I know for sure they were produced up until the late 80s, so they probably did see some. I definitely think they were probably produced a bit in the 90s as well. They did see service until the late 90s, which is kind of interesting. Excuse me, they're just wiping a damn ant off of this thing here, but these are pretty common, kind of common, as in you see them, but they're a bit more on the spendier side for, Eastern European masks. I'm guessing that, they're a bit less common than obviously your standard issue mask, but these were still mass produced. Now, when you buy these, typically it's going to be the later model of the mask. You see there's a few slight different variations of this mask based on the date. With the early ones from the 60s, they typically had a olive drab painted valve assembly there, and they used, I believe, a slightly different type of color tape and a few other things like that. This is a mid-production one. These are also kind of uncommon. The mid-production ones, really the only difference between them and the late production ones is that the mid-production ones use this kind of salmon-colored fabric tape, and the valve assembly right here is a bit more of that shiny, chrome-like material. With the late ones, it's a lot less shiny and it's more dull. So that's about it, really difference-wise. Well, and the fabric. The fabric tapes right here, they are a bit more of a darker blue on the later ones, and they're lighter on these earlier ones. When you do see them, they're typically going to be the ones from the later half of the 80s, so the late production ones with the white fabric tape, the darker blue fabric tapes, and the dull metal assembly. But this one, as you can see here, is a mid-production one, so a bit uncommon. I presume that was probably because around the late 80s is when they really started mass producing these. I guess there isn't really much else to mention about it. That's about all that is. So I guess we'll move on to the kit now. Okay, so we'll start off here with the anti-fog, the anti-fog lenses. Obviously, they're just the exact same as the Soviet-style ones, except the container doesn't have any labels on it. They obviously just have them little celluloid lenses that you pop out the frames in there and shove them in there, and they have a clear coat on them that helps keep the lenses from fogging up, which is definitely a necessity for this mask, as these fog up really bad, even with the TSO deflectors. So yeah, move on to the carrier here, since really there is no accessory. There is actually like no official accessories for this mask. It's really only like medical supplies or just those standard kit pieces for a regular kit. So here we got the carrier. Obviously it's not a proprietary carrier because this mask didn't have a proprietary carrier. This is the closest I actually had to a proprietary carrier. They were definitely issued with these. But yeah, it's literally just your standard carrier seen with an SZM-41M or SZM-41KF, you know. As you can see, nothing really special to note. You got like some inspection stamps. You got 4 pockets in here. You got one for your mask, one for your filter. You got your hose retainer, a pocket right here for storing the anti-fogging discs, and then a front pouch here for storing the hose. Right here you obviously have your ID card slot. On the side here you got like a pocket for a decontamination kit. And yeah, you got your strap right here, the shoulder strap. With the later ones it was more of a nylon material. This is a earlier one dated 1975, so yeah, you got your clips on the back here for attaching to a belt. Nothing really else to talk about. So getting onto the mask itself here, first off we have the canister, which this is just your standard EO14 canister, the Polish variant, which there actually is a difference in the designation, E-014. I got a 298 right there, guessing that's probably a batch number. Got some rust right there, but nothing really bad. Got some inspection stamps. I believe this canister is dated, what is that, probably like May of 1986, something similar like that. Maybe the 5th of June, or maybe May 6th, 1986. And then you have like some sort of stamp right here, probably an inspection stamp. And you got some more stamps down here. Nothing really special to note. You got the hose of the mask right here, which is just your standard GOST 40 millimeter hose. I presume with the earlier examples it might have actually been stocking that. Though with the most examples here you'll see, just this plain rubber. Like typical with these Polish ones, this one's kind of dilapidated. You can see where it's been crushed in a few spots, and it's, it's just kind of crushed and a bit annoying, but whatever. You can see the kind of gray-brown fabric tape that these Polish hoses always use. This one, I believe, is dated also 1986. So this kit, I'm guessing, was probably issued in around 1986. So now we can finally get on to the face piece itself here. As you can see, this is obviously the face piece of the mask. It's constructed out of that same style, like gray rubber that the Polish masks are made out of. Since this one's a mid-production example, of course, it's got the salmon colored fabric tape, and obviously the later ones, like I said, had the white tape. It's kind of actually uncommon to find the mid-production ones for some reason. Like I said, right here we have the fabric tapes for tying the mask together around the back of your head, because obviously you don't want to tie this together because it's a big hood. It doesn't stretch over really. It's just you have to tie it to the back of your head. So you got 3 sets of tapes to do that. So you can tie it down to your head securely. And then right here you have a little strap, a little rubber strap that comes out of here, and you'd wrap it around the neck, and you'd put it over this neck brace, and you'd just tie it around the neck brace so that it would hold the neck brace like this against your head. And that was so if you had like a neck or spinal injury, it would help brace your neck so that, it just acted as a neck brace to help secure the neck if you had a broken neck or spine. Yeah, you can see the construction of it, how it's like a face piece with a second hood that's glued on You can see a bunch of like glue residue all over it. I got your valve assembly right here. Nothing really special note about it. Just your standard SZM-41 style assembly. Yeah, I guess I'll flip it over and show the interior real quick, since there isn't really much else to note about the exterior of the mask. So, here you can see the interior. As you can see here, we have these, the two standard, just the two standard lenses that you have on most SHM and SZM style masks. And you got your TISO tubes, which are non-integrated. They are separate pieces of rubber that are held in place by rubber bands, as you can see here. How it works is that they hold them in place with two rubber bands on the top that are crimped into the lenses, and then two on the bottom which hold it onto the intake assembly, which the bottom ones aren't really good at doing that. They've kind of loosened over time, and now they're relatively easy to pry off. But yeah, nothing really else special about that. I'll show you some of the date stamps we have here. So right here we have a 5 stamp, not sure what that means. We got an inspection stamp right there. We got one of our date stamps, which this says 293, I'm guessing that was the lot number, and then we have 877, so I'm guessing this one is probably dated August 1977. And here, we've got some more stamps back here. Got another inspection stamp and another 1977 date right there. It says it says something 9 CZER 1977. Yeah, that's about it for it. So, yeah, nothing really else, I guess, to really note here, so that'll probably mark the end of this video. If I did leave anything out, I might insert it in the video. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video, I guess, and have a nice day.